sixth grade. Hope you're doing well today. As you are aware, today is Disney Attire Day. So I'm sporting my Disney attire and backdrop from Walt Disney World in Orlando, Florida. We are moving forward with Granted. I really like this book. And now we have a new twist as they have arrived at the home of the children and mother that Ophelia saw in the restaurant. And it's just another twist in the story. So we are going to begin a little bit probably of review from where we were yesterday. We're going to start at the top of page 225. Oh yes, of course, subtle and healthy. Stealthy, yes, that too. Sam trotted off and Ophelia stood with her hands on her hips and surveyed this side of the house. The windows were all shut. She could break the glass easy enough, provided she could scrounge up a good-sized rock, but that wasn't exactly subtle or stealthy. Besides, judging by the look of her, Mrs. Morales didn't need a rock through her window. Ophelia could pry one open, maybe, provided they weren't locked. But a woman living alone with 2 kids wasn't likely to leave her windows unfastened. If only there was a chimney. Of course, that would require her to get on the roof. And Ophelia wasn't sure she could even do that. What with her broken wing? She thought back to the incident at the diner. A dryer vent, maybe? It was possible there was a cellar or some other way she could sneak in from underground. Or something she missed around front. Houses this old were bound to have a crack or two. With her wings folded, Ophelia could squeeze through a hole the size of a plum. Wow, that is small. She can really get really tiny, can't she? At least she'd soon be operating under cover of darkness. The sun had nearly vanished now, leaving the sky swollen pink. And half a taut dusk would settle in, giving her plenty of shadows for slinking around in. She ran her hand along the side of the house, headed back toward the front, but just as she was about to turn the corner, she froze. Somebody was watching her. She could sense it. Somebody or something. It wasn't Sam. Him she would have smelled, and besides, he would never sneak up on her, as if he could. Ophelia's right hand crept down to the handle of her knife, drawing it slowly from its sheath. She wouldn't need Ozzy Osbourne to save her this time. She spun around just as her stalker attacked. Chapter 36. Theft! A streak of fur leapt high into the air and landed 3 feet away. Back hunched, hissing and spitting, a cat, and not a small one either, smoky gray with white spots like patches of snow, including one over his left eye. His hair was a frizz like a poofy dust ball with whiskers. His yellow eyes flashed surprise. Ophelia gestured with her knife. A little lunge to get him to take another step back. Full-grown cats were not to be trifled with, she knew. She'd heard stories of fairies getting caught in their claws, mangled and mauled, causing the creatures to rank high on the grantor's list of common dangers. The walls of the ephemeræ spoke of a few fairies who never escaped a feline's pounce. Though judging from his prodigious paunch, it looked like this particular cat couldn't pounce if he wanted to. He'd certainly done a poor job of sneaking up on her, and he was already trying to take it back. Whoa, watch where you're waving that thing, the cat said, tail standing straight up, fur spiked. Clearly there's been some kind of misunderstanding. Ophelia kept the tip of her blade pointed at the dust ball's pink nose. The hairs on her neck bristled as well. A misunderstanding? You were just about to try to have me for dinner. As she spoke, she calculated her chances of winning this fight. The cat was nearly twice her size, and she was wounded and exhausted. But she did have a knife. Dinner? The cat mewed in disbelief. Wait, you think I want to eat you? Please. Do I look like I'm hurting for food? The enormous feline turned sideways, his stomach swinging like a pendulum. I get my dinner from a can, man. Besides, I couldn't catch you if I wanted to. See? He held up one paw. Aphia wasn't sure what she was supposed to be looking at. No claws. At least you've still got the one. He meant her knife, she realized. Aphia raised an eyebrow, but she didn't bother to put the blade away. Not yet. So why were you sneaking up on me then? Honestly, I thought you were a bird, you know? The cat made an awkward flapping motion with one paw. I like to get them all startled and fluttery, squawking off at the mouth and losing feathers as they take off. It's a hobby, he said, with an air of satisfaction. Aphia thought about the hawk that had snatched her out of the tree earlier today. Not all birds were so easily flustered, especially by a cat without claws. You should maybe think twice about how you spend your free time, she said. Besides, I'm no bird. Yes, well, obviously I see that now. You've got like arms and no feathers, and your beak's way too short, and you're not ugly. I mean, you're not pretty, but you're not bird ugly. Not to mention your voice is kind of annoying and not musical at all. No, you're more of a... The cat circled the air with one clawless, white-gloved paw. Of a, one of those with the pouch hanging down and the strange smooth fur, like maybe a weird, deformed sort of... The cat finally gave up. What the heck are you? Someone not to be trifled with, Aphia said coolly. She looked around for Sam, but he was nowhere to be found. It was all right, though. She had come to the conclusion that this creature was no match for her. She slipped her knife back into its sheath, but kept one hand on the hilt for good measure. Funny place to keep it, the cat remarked, then gave his paw a lick and smoothed his whiskers. I'm patched, by the way. At least that's what my old lady calls me. Your old lady? My poop scooper, my feeder, petter, groomer, and all-around servant. Crazy as catnip and snores that'll shake the floor. But who's going to complain as long as the pate keeps coming? You know what I'm saying? Aphia shook her head. She had no idea what he was saying. She didn't know what pate was and couldn't possibly imagine why one creature would stoop to scooping up another's business. She looked through the trees opposite the driveway to the house next door. A white two-story in even worse shape than the Morales residence, though at least it had a crumbling chimney you could crawl down. You live over there? Patch arched his back and nodded. Yep, land of milk and tuna. Though don't get any funny ideas. I'm pretty sure the old lady's not going to take in some mutant miniature bird person or whatever you are. The litter pan isn't big enough for the both of us. Aphia made no attempt to hide her disgust. I have a home already, she said, and she needed to hurry up and get back to it, which meant she needed to find a way inside the house behind her. Do you know the people who live next door? She asked, pointing. The neighbors? Of course I know them, Patch said. They're decent folks. The woman puts cream out for me every now and then. The sweet stuff goes down nice and smooth. Patch licked one paw appreciatively. The girl's a sweetheart, too, always good for a belly rub, though the cuddling can get intense. She once squeezed me so tight I thought my ribs would break. Aphia wondered how you could even find ribs located under so much cat, or how little Anna Morales could lift the beast to begin with. And the boy, she asked? He's been kind of moody lately, the cat remarked, collapsing to his side as if he couldn't bear to hold up his own weight any longer. He used to be good for a scruff scratch at least, but not anymore. Not since their old man took off. Now the boy just hisses and tells me to go away, as if he's the boss of me. Please, nobody's the boss of this cat. Their old man? Gabe's father? The one who could call tonight, though the mother didn't sound too sure. It wasn't any of Aphia's business, of course, but she couldn't stem her curiosity. How long has he been gone, she asked. The father. What do I look like? Somebody who gives a sniff? The dad's all right, but the mom's the one you've got to impress. Got that one wrapped around my back paw. The cat struggled back to his feet and began to strut. Sometimes if I just stand outside the door and yell, they'll open up. Then I hit them with a heavy purr and a little leg rub, and it's leftovers on the porch. Of course, there was that time she caught me peeing on her flowers, Patch mused. Who knew she'd throw her shoe so fast? Patch the cat continued to drone on about the shoe and a few other things that had been thrown out at him over the years, but Afia had stopped listening. She got in the inklings of a plan, that she would need this chatty, chubby, puffed-up cat to pull it off. Hold on, she interrupted. You say they sometimes open the door for you? If you meow annoyingly? I prefer to think of it as serenading, Patch said. I actually have a gorgeous falsetto. I can hit most of the high notes, in fact. But Afia had already tuned him out again. If she could just get the door to open, she could sneak inside while they were distracted. First, she had to figure out how to convince this cat to help her. Maybe she could interest him in her ball of twine. She was starting to fish it out of her bag when she noticed a rustle in the bushes by the back corner of the house, followed by a snout just poking out through the leaves, followed by 60 pounds of Sam barreling through the grass at top speed, ready to play his favorite game. Stop there at the bottom of page 232, and tomorrow we'll begin chapter 37. Thank you so much, 6th grade. Take care. See you later. Bye.